Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're managing multiple client websites right now, you already know that your ability to scale relies heavily on delegation. But when you hand off the technical keys to a white label WordPress support service, their response times will literally make or break your partnership. I mean, when a client experiences a critical issue, every single hour counts. So today, we're going to walk through the 6 absolutely crucial response time benchmarks you need to expect and honestly demand from a white label partner to make sure your agency's reputation stays totally pristine. Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the white label lifeline. Second, handling critical incidents. Third, managing routine and minor issues. And finally, securing your service agreement. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the white label lifeline, the invisible partnership. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. White label WordPress support essentially means you're hiring a highly specialized team to handle your client's technical issues, but they do it completely invisibly behind your brand name. It's an incredible model, really. You manage the valuable client relationship while your partner manages all that heavy technical lifting in the background. The absolute magic of this invisible model is that your client never actually sees the partner's name on a report, an email, or an invoice. The credit goes entirely to you. But of course, this invisibility only works when the service is fast and reliable. And that brings up the ultimate agency nightmare, right? What happens when a client site crashes hard and your invisible partner goes completely MIA? It's the exact kind of silence that induces an immediate panic sweat. Your provider might have promised you lightning-fast support during the sales pitch, but if they deliver slow results when a site is completely down, well, your client isn't going to blame the ghost provider. They're going to blame you. That's exactly why understanding industry benchmarks isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a critical tool for negotiating your agreements and avoiding a massive blow to your brand. Which brings us to section 2, handling the critical incidents, the triage model. To prevent that nightmare scenario, we need to treat website issues exactly like a hospital emergency room triage. Let's look at what we call Priority 1, or P1, critical issues. These are literally life-threatening to a business. Just imagine the sheer panic of a client seeing the dreaded white screen of death right before a major product launch. We're talking about complete site downtime, database corruption, checkout failures on e-commerce stores, and active security breaches. When any of these happen, your client is bleeding revenue every single minute that site stays offline. Seriously, a site that can't process a checkout is just a store with its front doors locked shut. This triggers immediate escalation, often pulling in senior technicians right away. So what's the standard here? 4 to 8 hours. That is the industry standard you should expect for a first response from a white label provider for a critical P1 issue. Now keep in mind, resolution time obviously extends beyond this initial response, but a qualified technician absolutely must begin diagnosing the problem within this 4 to 8 hour window. If you're paying for premium support tiers, many of the top-tier providers will guarantee an even faster emergency response, sometimes within 30 minutes to 2 hours, which is amazing. But 4 to 8 hours remains that baseline benchmark you absolutely must evaluate your service agreements against. But watch how fast that timeline shrinks the moment an active threat enters the picture. For security incidents, like malware detection or unauthorized file access, the window drops down to 1 to 4 hours. An immediate response here is absolutely non-negotiable. A qualified provider must detect the malware, isolate the infected files, alert you, and start the cleanup process immediately. You just can't promise your clients 99.9% uptime if a site isn't secure in the first place. Plus, a major breach might require full backup restoration and deep code reviews. Let's take a breath and move to section 3, managing routine and minor issues, de-escalating the chaos. Because let's be real, if everything is an emergency, nothing actually is. Let's de-escalate for a second. First up, we have Priority 2. Major functionality issues. Think broken contact forms or payment gateway glitches where the site is still at least partially accessible. Because the site isn't totally down, the expected response time here is 12 to 24 hours. A good provider will acknowledge the ticket within 12 hours so you know they're actively on it. Next, performance issues, which usually get 24 to 48 hours for a diagnostic report. And finally, minor bugs, like, cosmetic CSS issues or a typo on the About page. These get 3 to 5 business days because the core purpose of the site remains completely intact. Setting these exact boundaries with your clients prevents so much immense frustration down the line. I actually want to pause on performance for a quick second because 2 seconds is the industry benchmark for page load time that most clients expect today. So the crucial takeaway is that when websites are running super slowly but haven't gone totally offline, they still need rapid attention.
white label providers should respond to performance complaints within that 24 to 48-hour window with a detailed diagnostic report to figure out if it's poor hosting, massive unoptimized images, or just heavy plugin usage dragging things down. The very best providers actually use real-time monitoring systems to catch these performance drops automatically, fixing them before the client even realizes the site was logging.
Then, of course, we have regular updates, WordPress core, plugins, themes, the whole shebang. This is where you actually save yourself from those 3 a.m. panic swats. Because these updates are planned, proactive, and not reactive at all, you should expect a highly organized two-step process. First, testing the updates on a staging environment to make sure nothing breaks. Second, deploying them during a 1 to 3 hour maintenance window, typically late at night or early morning during off-peak hours. This drastically minimizes any downtime and deployment risks. Your provider should always be giving you an advance notice of these windows so you can communicate clearly with your clients.
All right, heading into our final stretch. Section 4, securing your service agreement, protecting your brand.
So, what actually separates a true professional quality white label agency from a merely adequate one? Well, adequate support relies heavily on verbal promises and generic updates like, hey, we're looking into it, which, let's face it, offers zero real accountability. Quality support, on the other hand, means total transparent communication. It means they publish their response time commitments in a formal service level agreement, or SLA. It means they offer transparent status pages so you can track progress in real time. And they share actual, detailed diagnostic findings rather than just vaguely saying a ticket is closed.
And this right here, this is the teeth of the agreement. Missed SLAs absolutely must equal credits or penalties. If a provider misses a promised deadline, say they take 12 hours to respond to a critical P1 issue instead of the guaranteed 8, your agreement should clearly outline exactly what happens next. Leading providers will actually refund a portion of that month's fees or extend service at no charge if they miss those commitments. Many top agencies even use independent monitoring tools to verify these response times, just to ensure the SLA terms are strictly enforced across the board.
And that brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Take a hard look at your current white label setup and ask yourself, is your partner protecting your reputation, or are they actively risking it every single time a site goes down? Because without a written service level agreement guaranteeing those 4 to 8 hour critical responses and 1 to 4 hour security interventions, you are flying completely blind. Demand the benchmarks, get them in writing, and ensure your agency's foundation is built on rock-solid, invisible support. After all, if you don't know the exact minute your invisible partner is going to step in and help, do you really have a partner at all?